Hey everybody, so it's Dr. Delicia here. Just wanted to hop on. Sorry I'm a little bit late. So our morning clinic kind of ran over a little bit, but wanted to come on. I talked a little bit yesterday about something that I was really been working on and wanted to really kind of announce. And we've been really excited. Something that it's been a calling that I've had for a long time, and a lot of things were happening that showed that the timing was right. So I wanted to come on and let you all know about that. So we've got our Instagram live people over here. So hey, how are you? And our YouTube live over here. So if it looks like I'm shifting my eyes back and forth, it's kind of by design. Um, but so I mentioned yesterday that kind of medicine has this kind of dirty little secret, and that secret actually has to do with the mental health of our own providers, of our own professionals. So we do a great job of taking care of patients and taking care of other people, and we don't do a great job of taking care of ourselves. And the entire industry of medicine kind of is complicit in that. We lose over 400 physicians a year to suicide. And if you think about that, if every physician is taking care of anywhere between, about 2,000 patients, 3,000 patients, that over 1 million Americans lose access to their trusted medical doctor every year because of suicide. So it's one of those things that we don't talk about. And because of my own history, it's been something that's been on my heart um, to make an impact in. I've been able to make a huge impact here in my clinic and in our kind of our local community. And after the loss of one of my colleagues and my best friend to suicide, and then also losing a medical student, and I teach medical students in addition to being, I'm the founder and CEO of Family First Health Center, where I am right now, and I'm also a medical student mental health advocate. So I really have always been, it's always been one of those things that's been important to me to make sure that people are taking care of their mental health just as much as their physical health. And but I really didn't talk about my own personal journey because I never wanted to become known as or looked at as like the depressed physician. I was kind of concerned about how that would affect my reputation, my standing, my business, and there were just a lot of reasons. And then we lost a student. We lost a second-year medical student to suicide, and it was one of those times when I realized that my silence isn't helping anyone. It's not saving anyone. And I think that all of us, good to see you, all of us have things that we've been through in our lives, and it's not always about us, that we've found a way out of. So for me, I'll be going into this in depth more kind of in the future. But when I was in high school, I actually was suicidal and became severely depressed. Didn't know that I was. Luckily, I had a teacher who recognized it, so she was able to kind of intervene. So that happened to me in high school. And the good thing about that experience is I found out what depression was. Even though I didn't really know anything else, I knew what it was. Went on to college, was a Division I athlete at the University of Louisville. Really didn't have any problems then. And then I went to medical school. And I went from this Division I athlete who was super active to literally sitting on my butt and studying for 8 hours a day. Sometimes being in situations where people just weren't where people were really belittling. Just sometimes it was a very just negative environment, and started to have the symptoms again that I'd had when I was in high school. And I was just really mad at myself because I at that point I knew what depression was, and I felt like because I was studying medicine that I should be immune to it, that this shouldn't be affecting me. But just because you know about something doesn't mean that you can't still succumb to it. Um, so I had a second episode of major depression in medical school. Actually, I had to take some time off to be treated. The best decision I've ever made in my life was actually pressing pause. At the moment, it felt like I was quitting, but it was really, I needed to take care of myself so that I could take care of other people. And through going through that experience and coming out even better on the other end, it gave me a lot of tools that I now use every day for myself and for my own patients to kind of help them. So just ways that they can like improve their mental health. Um, So the big announcement that I was kind of mentioning yesterday is that I actually wrote my first book. So some of my people in my inner circle knew I've been writing and working on something, but it's actually finished. And so the book is now being put together, being in form. Um, in essence, the book is about preventing suicide and depression. It focuses a lot on physicians, but it's really, a book that is beneficial to anyone who is concerned about their own mental health or the mental health of someone their loved ones. So it goes through a lot of things. I kind of use myself as a case study, so you can kind of see. A lot of people when I'm talking, especially the medical students that I've shared with, will say that if they didn't know better, they would think that I had a front row seat to their experience by listening to my story. And it's so important that the stories that you have, the stories that we all have, are beneficial not just to ourselves but to other people. And it's really powerful how much your story can benefit someone else. And so that's really what I learned through this process. So the book has a lot of my story in it. It also has other physicians, both physicians who are still with us and some physicians who did end up dying by suicide, because I think we can learn a lot from all of us, and hoping that, my grand hope is that we can live in a world that no one has to either feels the need to write a suicide note and no one else has to read one, which is kind of a big goal, but I think that we can all make a difference where we are, and this is the difference that I know that I've been called to make, that I've been running away from for a long time for various reasons. So the book is called The Dawn: A Med Student's Roadmap to Finding Light in Their Darkest Hour, and it's available for pre-sales right now. So you can go to thedawnbook.com, and over there you can get like an autographed copy. It's in pre-order because again it's still being put together. Actually just got an email just a second about something I need to do, but so for the physical copy. And then next Wednesday at the same time at noon, I'll be doing a virtual book launch, so wanted to invite all of you all to that, where we'll be kind of going through it much more in depth. Over half of the book is prevention, and so that's the part when we're talking about depression and suicide that we don't talk about enough, is talking about prevention. Like, what can you do on a daily basis, especially if you have a history of mental health issue or mental health problem, so that doesn't become your future. And so that's one of the areas that I've done a lot of work on myself, and have been able to make a huge impact with my patients in my clinic, and wanting to really share that more with other people in the world. So so I'm really excited. This is like the little it's not little, but it's kind of like the poster, the book cover. And it's too big to fit into the screen, but it's been just a labor of love that I'm really excited to finally kind of get out. Although there's a little part of me, like my inner introvert, that is screaming right now. But it's just so important. Thank you. I love the love. So that people really know, one, that they're not alone. So I want every person, especially every physician or medical student, to know just how common this is, that they're not alone, that there are effective ways that you can get help, that it's important, and most importantly, know how it's going to show up. So depression shows up differently in different people, and so it's important to know how it might show up in yourself, and then also really to have those keys so that it doesn't affect you continuously, so that this is something that you've got some more armamentarium, so that you can kind of fight it and come out on top. So I wanted to come on and make that announcement, because I've not really been talking about having written the book and having the book be available, but wanted to know it's amazing to kind of create a resource, and that already it's not in circulation yet. The only people that have really read it, other than the editor, has been some of the people, some of the physicians who we've lost, who I mentioned their story. I I spoke with their loved ones and had them read it. And one of the forwards is actually written by the father of a medical student that we lost, who was really instrumental in me kind of getting out of my own way and speaking up and talking about it more. And he wrote just a wonderful forward for the book that I was really happy with. So I'm just excited that as a resource that it's going to be out there. My goal is to try and to get into the hands of every single medical student, because I think that we go into medicine not realizing what we just signed up for, and the amount of exposure to situations and circumstances that are very traumatic, and you're kind of expected to kind of just have it all together and go from, I remember for myself going from one room where I delivered a dead baby, and then had to go to the next room and take care of someone who had a urinary tract infection, and have that same level of compassion. And I just remembered that in my mind and my heart were still in the other room, but the expectation was that I was supposed to kind of keep it moving. So there's all these things that we don't really talk about and deal with. And there's I am blessed to practice medicine in an environment that is very supportive. It's an environment that I created, and I help other doctors do that as well. But most of my colleagues are not having that experience, and we all want to do our best taking care of other people. We've got to take care of yourself, and that goes for regardless of whether you're a physician or not, that you're making sure that you're taking care of yourself when you're taking care of others. So again, just wanted to come on and make that official announcement that the Dawn book it's written, it's finished, it's out there, and I'll be doing an official book launch party next Wednesday, April 10th at noon. So I invite you to join me here on Instagram and here on YouTube Live. And I hope to see you then. I'm hoping my voice will be coming back by then. But thank you for tuning in for today. Again, I'm Dr. Delicia Haynes. I'm your board certified physician. I'm also a medical student mental health advocate. So I shine a light for medical students in their darkest hour, helping them overcome stress and depression. You can follow me across social media at Dr. Delicia MD. That's DrDeliciaAMD. And I look forward to seeing you guys next Wednesday. And just want to thank you for your support. And again, it's okay to not be okay. So if you're going through a season where you're having issues with mental health, make sure that you take the time to get help. If you're concerned about somebody else, make sure that you take the time to kind of up-level your own knowledge, so you know how best to support them. We'll be talking a lot about that next week. So until then, thank you for tuning in. I'll see you then. All right, bye.